Imagine you're hiring a carpenter.
Mm-hmm.
The carpenter comes, looks at the old house that you've just bought,
Yeah.
and your vision, what you're trying to describe, and I say trying because you're
Yes.
verbally doing this for the first time. You're talking to a carpenter who works full time as a carpenter,
Mm.
and they've done 1,000 jobs, very highly experienced.
Yes.
Out of the 1,000 jobs, they've seen 990 of those jobs do exactly the same thing with their kitchen. Your kitchen drawers have
Uh-huh.
handles that you pull this way. In other words, that
Yes.
little bit of metal
Yep.
is horizontal,
Yes.
not vertical, but
Vertical.
horizontal.
Mm-hmm.
So you hire a carpenter and they come to have a look at the old kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And you ask the carpenter, okay, well, look, what I want is I want you to come in. I'll give you the keys for 2 weeks. Come in, remove the kitchen, remove the current kitchen, get it back to the normal walls, patch
Yes.
up any holes,
Yes.
and I've delivered some flat pack furniture from my local hardware store that's a flat pack kitchen.
Yes.
So I want you to assemble the kitchen, put the drawers, put in the base cabinets, which are the ones at the bottom,
Yep.
the ones that are mounted on the
The
walls
wall.
as well, so your top
Mm-hmm.
cabinets. So you've got wall cabinets, you've got base cabinets, you've got the kitchen sink
Yes.
and a bench top. So what things are obvious? Well, you'd think, okay, well, gravity works the same anywhere on the planet. So obviously,
Yes.
you're going to put the heavy things at the bottom and the light stuff up top.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
So your base cabinets are deeper. Your wall cabinets are shallower.
Shallower.
It makes sense that if you had the big cabinets up top and you're trying to reach
That's
something underneath, you'd hit your head each and every time.
correct.
So you don't need to describe to your carpenter that the deep ones are the base cabinets going on the bottom
Well, I
and the
hope
small ones
not.
are the wall cabinets. But think of this, Tony.
Uh-huh.
Every set of drawers, at least every set of drawers I've ever seen, come
Yes.
out this way, correct?
Yes.
So your drawer is a rectangle coming out that way. So
Yes.
your carpenter would assume that the handles, if you've got those little rectangular
Correct.
handles, they would come out at the same angle.
Yep.
But there's doors on the left and doors on the right,
Mm-hmm.
not the drawers, but now you're thinking of cabinets next to it.
Yes.
Some people visually think that if you put your handles all vertically going
Horizontal.
this way,
Mm.
it makes your ceilings look taller because it gives you that slimline illusion.
Ah.
Other people
Okay.
think, well, those little horizontal things, because the drawers are like this,
They
you
should
should
be the
put your
same.
doors like that as well, because then it
Mm-hmm.
just gives you a nice streamlined look. And when you're walking into the kitchen, you can see everything's in a straight line and it gives you a
Yes.
very tidy
Nice
look.
aesthetic.
Depending on what the owner or the person whose vision it is to put this kitchen together has in their head, needs to be described
Ah.
very specifically. So this is one of the buyer beware things. So
Absolutely.
if you have a carpenter who perhaps has done 2 or 3 jobs for you, and the other 990 jobs out of the 1,000 they've done, everybody's requested horizontal. Everybody.
Mm.
Except for you in the last kitchen, you're one of the 1,000 that asked for it to be vertical and
Vertical.
for the drawers to be horizontal. Why would they remember your job out of the 1,000?
Why would
Especially
they?
if the last job they did for you was 4 years ago.
Mm.
Think of
Okay.
this. They're
Yeah.
working full time as a carpenter. So they're doing
Yes.
it day in, day out. The
Yes.
last 150 or 250
Have
jobs
been the other
between
way.
your last job and this job has been different.
Mm.
So they're not going to remember that. So here's one of the clues that would save you time and money, would
Yes.
save you frustration, would make the carpenter happy at the end and be happy working for you,
Yeah.
and make you happy at the end because you don't need to do rework and pay for somebody to fix it later.
Mm.
Get a scope of works. What do I
Yes.
mean by that? A scope of works is a list of, I expect you to do this, to remove this, and then fix this, and then paint this or don't paint this.
Mm-hmm.
I want the handles facing this way, not that way. The drawers
Yes.
should all have facing this way, and the doors should be facing the opposite way as vertical.
Yeah.
I want the pantry door to open on the right
That way or
hinge. So when
that
you're
way.
facing it, the hinge is on the right. I want the fridge to be on the left-hand
Left.
side when you're facing it, etc. Your
Mm.
kitchen sink is probably going to be by the window.
Mm.
So gravity, you don't need to explain that the big cabinets go down the bottom and the small cabinets up top, but there are so many other items, so
Yeah.
many other little things you need to know. Even the space at the edge of your kitchen, so that when the
Yes.
door opens, the handle of the
Yes.
door doesn't bang the corner.
Yeah.
So some people prefer a big edge. Once your kitchen's finished, they put a fake piece of timber at the end
Yes. So
like
that
a
you don't.
spacer,
Mm-hmm.
to separate it so that your door doesn't bang or your hand doesn't get jammed up against the wall when you're opening the
Correct.
thing. Other people want it going all the way up and they don't want a door on the edge.
Yeah.
So everybody's got their own preference. But only a few carpenters are mind readers.
Mm. But they
Only
should
joking.
all
Nobody's a mind reader.
they should all do a scope of works though, Amir. In your experience, do most carpenters do a scope of works?
No, most of it, they do a visual and they write down notes. They bring a little carpenter's pencil, and on your blank wall, if you've
Ah,
already removed everything,
yeah.
they mark on the wall where things are and they write cabinet, this. So they write a few measurements while they're there with a tape measure so that
Mm.
when they're on site, they don't need to refer to another piece of paper because
Mm.
the more things you carry, the less you can do your work. So a lot of them just write on the wall before it's painted. Obviously, they write on the wall
Yes.
little notes of
Yes.
kitchen sink starts here,
Yes.
finishes here, etc. Um, but if the person who's hiring them isn't experienced and hasn't seen both vertical and horizontal, or if they haven't thought of the logistics of having a door open all the way out,
Yes.
they can not think of it. It's just not, just like the
It's
word that we were talking about before, Tony,
yes.
it's not a normal word to say time is of the essence means there's interest paid from that
Correct.
date.
Mm-hmm.
That's not, you can't assume that somebody would know that, but
Mm.
it's very important. And you'd save yourself a lot of frustration and money if you do it the right way.
Yeah.
Another thing